Hi, this is Michael Buckoff. Today, I want to talk about TOEFL IBT speaking, listening, and Dave's ESL Cafe. If you use phrasal verbs and idioms, you will be able to do much better on TOEFL IBT listening and speaking. An example of a phrasal verb is add up. For example, Tom's story about being late to class just doesn't seem to add up. An example of an idiom is hot water. For example, Kenneth is in hot water with his wife right now. He should not have gone to Las Vegas. When you're taking the TOEFL IBT, and especially during the speaking section, you want to try to sound as natural as you can. The human raters are looking for idiomasticity of language. That means that you sound natural and you don't use any odd or strange sounding phrases. Therefore, if you use phrasal verbs and idioms, you will sound more natural during the TOEFL IBT speaking. Additionally, during the listening section, it's important that you recognize idioms and phrasal verbs as figurative expressions. During these listening exercises, use the context to understand the meaning. And during TOEFL IBT listening, avoid answer choices that contain any part of the phrasal verb or idiom. Consider the following sample conversation using a phrasal verb. The woman says, "Why are you so upset today?" Then the man says, "Why didn't you show up for your biology study group last night?" Now, of course, you can see in this, you have the word show up. Of course, the question is, from the narrator, what does the man mean? The four answer choices are the following. A, why the woman showed up their study group. B, why the woman was late for the study group. Answer choice C, why the woman did not attend the study session. And D, why the woman went to the movies instead of studying. Since the man used the word did not show up and study group, the best answer here is choice C, attend, because show up means attend. And then study group is the same in meaning as study session. Now, be very careful about picking words like showed. The speaker did say show, but showed up, the study group, has a different meaning than showing up for the study group. The second conversation involves using an idiomatic expression. So, the man says, "We have so much work to do this weekend." Then the woman says, "You got that right. I will be keeping my nose to the grindstone every day now." Of course, the question says, what does the woman mean? Now, this is kind of an odd sounding statement here. Keeping my nose to the grindstone. Now, it doesn't appear to directly relate to what the man says, so it looks kind of strange. So usually idiomatic expressions, they don't appear to connect in the conversation at the literal level, but they do have a figurative meaning, and that's exactly what you're looking for. So here's your answer choices. A, the woman has injured her nose. B, she will continue to work hard with little or no breaks. C, the woman will use her nose to repair the grindstone. And D, the woman will use the grindstone every day this week. Now, of course, the idiom is keeping her nose, or keeping the woman's nose to the grindstone. So because A contains the word nose, I'm very hesitant in choosing that answer. You don't want to pick answers which sound correct. And C also has the word nose, and it also uses the word grindstone. Again, these are both directly from the actual statement. And then even D uses the word grindstone. Now the best answer here is B. She will continue to work hard with little or no breaks. Now, in case you're wondering, a grindstone is a machine that is used in many cultures to sharpen knives and other types of tools. It's electric or it can be manual, and you put the sharp edge of the blade on the stone, and the stone turns very quickly, and it does the work for you. So it does have this meaning of keeping the nose to the grindstone as working really hard. It is important for you to improve your overall proficiency in using idioms and phrasal verbs, and there's 3 things that you can do to do this. First, to improve your knowledge of idioms and phrasal verbs, it's important to speak with native speakers regularly. Native speakers use phrasal verbs, and they also use idiomatic expressions frequently. The second thing that you can do is watch movies, TV shows, and listen to music. This is also very, very effective. In all of these 3 different areas, movies use idiomatic expressions a lot. They also use phrasal verbs, and so do TV shows and music. And third, go to Dave's ESL Cafe, where you can get regular practice with both of these important types of words. You can study idioms, and you can also study phrasal verbs. To go to Dave's ESL Cafe is very simple. In your browser, you're going to type in the words http://www.dave, actually Dave, D-A-V-E-S, eslcafe.com, and then you'll see this link. And here we go. This is Dave's ESL Cafe. Now what you want to do is start scrolling down and look to the left. You see where it says jobs? It says stuff for teachers. It says stuff for students. Here's what you want. You want the stuff for students. You have this link, idioms. This is a good one. You can click on this and you can study regularly different kinds of idiomatic expressions from A to Z. Secondly, you can look at phrasal verbs. You can also get practice there. Both of these will help prepare you for the listening and the speaking sections of the TOEFL IBT. Now for conversational English, I didn't bring this up for TOEFL because it's not as important for TOEFL, but for conversational English you can also study his section on slang. So by going to Dave's ESL Cafe, you can also get a little bit better knowledge of conversational English, and I think it will help you both when you're communicating to native speakers and when you're taking the TOEFL IBT speaking and writing sections. For more information, you can go to my website at www.michaelbuckhoff.com.
I do believe that this video also was very useful for you on how to study vocabulary, phrasal verbs, idioms, talking to native speakers, because all of this stuff will enhance your skill and improve it in a very short time, and of course it will help you with your exam. To complete here the tips we have to focus on the test material to know actually what we're going to have and how can we deal with. And of course, the last tip, to stay calm. You should be calm because calmness the test requires being calm, because calmness is very important in such cases when you're taking an exam or test. So right now we're going to start our listening practice, and this listening practice includes a number of tests with number of questions. This is a very good practical session for you. I hope that you're gonna enjoy it. So let's start with the first one. Okay, hold on please.
Listen to a conversation on campus between two students.
Hi, are you Paula?
Jim?
Hi, nice to meet you.
Glad to meet you.
So, you need some tutoring in English?
Yeah, I'm taking English composition and I'm not doing very well on my essays.
Right. Well, first, let's see if we can figure out a time to meet that we're both free.
Okay.
How about Mondays? Maybe in the morning? I don't have any classes until 11 on Mondays.
That'd work, but I was hoping we could, meet more than once a week.
Oh, well, Tuesdays are out. I've got classes and, I work at the library part-time on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But I could get together on Wednesdays.
In the morning?
Probably 9:30 would be best. That way we'd have an hour to work before I'd have to get ready for my 11 o'clock.
So that would be 2 hours a week then.
I could do that.
Oh, but would that be extra? Would I need to pay you for the extra session?
No, just so you meet me here at the Learning Center and we both sign in, then I'll get paid. Tutoring's free, to you, I mean. The school pays me, but we both have to show up. If you don't show up and sign in for a session, then I don't get paid, so...
Oh, don't worry about that. I really need the help. I won't miss any sessions unless I'm sick or something.
Okay, then. So you want me to help you with your essays?
Right. I could bring you some that have, comments on them. I'm getting C's and...
Well, that's not too bad. Once I see some of your writing, we should be able to pull that up to a B.
You think so?
Sure. But I need to explain something. Some of my students in the past, they expected me to write their essays for them, but that's not what a tutor's supposed to do. My job is to help you be a better writer.
Oh, I understand that. But you'll read my essays, right?
Oh yeah, no problem. We'll read them together, and I'll make suggestions.
Great. I think part of the problem is I just don't understand the teacher's comments. Maybe you could help me figure them out.
Sure. Who's the teacher?
Simpson?
No problem. I've tutored a couple of her students, so I know more or less where she's coming from. Okay then, I guess we'll meet here on Monday?
I'll be here. 9:30, you said.
Just sign in when you get here.
1. What does the woman need? Two. Listen again to part of the conversation and then answer the following question.
Oh, but would that be extra? Would I need to pay you for the extra session?
Why does the woman say this?
Oh, but would that be extra?
Three. Why is the man concerned about the woman's attendance? 4. What does the man agree to do? 5. What does the man imply about the woman's teacher?
Okay, everybody, this was the listening part or test 1 regarding the listening skill. You have already listened to it and you do have some questions. I do have here the same questions for you just to revise and make sure that you understood it well and you can answer it. So let's do this. Number 1, what does the woman need according to the video that you've watched or you listened to together? What does the woman need? A meeting with Professor Sampson, an English composition class, an appointment for tutoring, information about Learning Center. Yeah, what's the answer? Yes, exactly. An appointment for tutoring. An appointment for tutoring. If you notice here, we do have 4 multiple choices and all of them are similar. But if you focus on listening well and you come up with this conclusion, of course, that she needs an appointment for tutoring. An appointment for tutoring. Why? To take the composition class. Okay, she didn't ask from the very beginning that she needs an appointment for tutoring in order to have the composition class. Then listen again to this part of the conversation and answer the following question. Oh, but will that be extra? Do I have to pay for you the extra session? Why does the woman say this? Oh, but I will that be extra? Yeah. She's worried that she cannot afford the service. She's trying to negotiate the cost of the sessions. She's showing a particular interest in the man. She's expressing surprise about the arrangement. Yes? My excellent and smart guys there. What's the right answer? Yeah. The right answer, of course, is letter A. She's worried that she cannot afford the service because she asked him, if we have extra session, we do have to pay extra money. So if someone asks such kind of questions, he's worried that he cannot afford such a kind of extra service. So the right answer is letter A. She's worried that she cannot afford the service. Why the man concerned about the woman's attendance? Why the man concerned about the woman's attendance? Letter A, if she's absent, her grade will be lowered. He will not get a paycheck if she's absent. She has been sick a lot during this semester. Her grades need to be improved. Of course, the right answer is yes, exactly. It's letter B. He will not get a paycheck if she is absent. So the right answer for number 3 is letter B. He will not get a paycheck if she's absent. What does this number 4? What does the man agree to do? What does the man agree to do? Letter A, he will show the woman how to use the library. Letter B, he will write some compositions for the woman. Letter C, he will talk with the woman's English professor. He will show the woman how to improve her writing. I believe this is easy. Yes, it's letter D. He will show the woman how to improve her writing. If you remember, he told her, I will not write compositions for you because he had faced such kind of problem previously. So he just advised her and he warned her that he will not write her compositions, but he will show the woman how to improve her writing. So the right answer for number 4 is letter D. He will show the woman how to improve her writing. Number 5, what does the man imply about the woman's teacher? What does the man imply about the woman's teacher? Letter A, the professor. The professor is very difficult to understand. He does now know where she came from. Her students seem to like her teaching style. He's familiar with her requirements. What's the right answer? What does the man imply about the woman's teacher? Yes? Exactly, it's letter B. He does now know where she came from. He does now know where she came from. Next. This is our second lecture or second part of the test, and it's a geology class. Geology class. So you're going to listen to a lecture of a geology class between a teacher and some students. Pay attention to it, and of course you do have the same questions on the video, and then you will be back to me to answer all the questions to double check your understanding. Be with me.
Listen to part of a lecture in a geology class.
Okay, today we're going to discuss the 4 major types of drainage patterns. I trust you've already read the chapter, so you'll recall that a drainage pattern is the arrangement of channels that carry water in an area. And these patterns can be very distinctive since they're determined by the climate, the topography, and the composition of the rock that underlies the formations. So consequently, we can see that a drainage pattern is really a good visual summary of the characteristics of a particular region, both geologically and climatically. In other words, when we look at drainage patterns, we can draw conclusions about the structural formation and relief of the land as well as the climate. Now, all drainage systems are composed of an interconnected network of streams, and when we view them together, they form distinctive patterns. Although there are at least 7 identifiable kinds of drainage patterns, for our purposes we're going to limit our study to the 4 major types. Probably the most familiar pattern is the dendritic drainage pattern. This is a stream that looks like the branches of a tree. Here's an example of a dendritic pattern. As you can see, it's similar to many systems in nature. In addition to the structure of a tree, it also resembles the human circulation system. This is a very efficient drainage system because the overall length of any one branch is fairly short, and there are many branches, so that allows the water to flow quickly and efficiently from the source or sources. Okay, let's look at the next example. This drainage pattern is referred to as a radial pattern. Notice how the streams flow from a central point. This is usually a high mountain or a volcano. It kind of looks like the spokes that radiate out from the hub of a wheel. When we see a radial pattern, we know that the areas experienced uplift and that the direction of the drainage is down the slopes of a relatively isolated central point. Going back to the dendritic for a moment, the pattern's determined by the direction of the slope of the land, but the streams flow in more or less the same direction, and so it's unlike the radial that had multiple directions of flow from the highest point. Now this pattern is very different from either the dendritic or the radial. This is called a rectangular pattern, and I think you can see why. Just look at all of those right-angle turns. The rectangle pattern is typical of a landscape that's been formed by fractured joints and faults, and because this broken rock is eroded more easily than unbroken rock, Stream beds are carved along the jointed bedrock. Finally, we have the trellis pattern. And here in this example, you can see quite clearly how the tributaries of an almost parallel structure drain into valleys and form the appearance of a garden trellis. This pattern forms in areas where there are alternating bands of variable resistance. And by that, I mean that the bands of rock that are very strong and resistant to erosion alternate with bands of rock that are weak and easily eroded. This often happens when horizontal plane folds and outcroppings appear. So, as I said, as a whole, these patterns are dictated by the structure and relief of the land. The kinds of rocks on which the streams are developed, the structural pattern of the folds, faults, and uplift will usually determine a drainage system. However, I should also mention that drainage patterns can occasionally appear to be, well, out of sync with the landscape. And this can happen when a stream flows over older structures that have been uncovered by erosion, or when a stream keeps its original drainage system when rocks are uplifted. So when that happens, the pattern appears to be contrary to the expected course of the stream. But I'm interested in your understanding the basic drainage system, so I don't plan to trick you with test questions about exceptional patterns. But I expect you to know that exceptions to the patterns can occur when geological events influence them.
6. What is this lecture mainly about? Seven. Listen again to part of the lecture and then answer the following question.
Okay, today we're going to discuss the four major types of drainage patterns. I trust you've already read the chapter, so you'll recall that a drainage pattern is the arrangement of channels that carry water in an area.
Why does the professor say this?
I trust you've already read the chapter, so you'll recall that a drainage pattern is the arrangement of channels that carry water in an area.
Eight. How does the professor introduce the dendritic drainage system? Nine. Why does the professor mention the spokes of a wheel? Ten. In the lecture, the professor discusses the trellis drainage pattern. Indicate whether each of the following is typical of this pattern. Click in the correct box for each phrase. (11) What does the professor imply when he says this?
So I don't plan to trick you with test questions about exceptional patterns.